Have you ever tried to learn French and just gotten totally stuck on how they say the word the? I mean, why are there four different ways to say it? Well, if that's you, you're in exactly the right place. Because in the next few minutes, we are going to crack this code completely. So this is the heart of the problem, right? In English, it's just the car, the books, the apple. Super simple. But in French, you've got these four contenders. Le, la, elle, and le, all vying for the same job. It looks way more complicated than it is, but trust me, there's a really simple system hiding in plain sight.
Feeling a little overwhelmed? Yeah, that's totally normal. But don't even worry about it. We're about to break this whole thing down into a few simple rules that are actually easy to remember. So let's solve this thing together.
Okay, so we're going to start with the two easiest rules. Think of these as your quick wins. They work every single time, and honestly, they'll get you about halfway there right off the bat. First up, we've got less. This one is your best friend because it is so straightforward. If the word is plural, there's more than one, and it usually ends in an S, you just use less. It doesn't matter one bit if the word is masculine or feminine. Plural always means less. Simple as that. And rule number 2 is almost just as easy. Meet ul, the one with a little apostrophe. You use this anytime a singular word starts with a vowel sound. So A, E, I, O, U, or one of those silent H's, like arbre for tree or hôpital for hospital. And again, gender is totally irrelevant here. It's all about that vowel sound. All right, you've already mastered the two easy ones. Nice. Now it's time for the main event, the gender game. This is where we figure out the difference between les for masculine words and la for feminine ones. And don't worry, I've got a killer shortcut for you. Okay, I want you to lock this number into your brain, 75%. That's about how often you're going to be right if you just follow one tiny guideline for guessing a word's gender. This isn't just some grammar rule. This is a game-changing hack. And here is the hack. If a French word ends in the letter E, it's usually feminine, so you'd use la. Think la table or la voiture. And if a word doesn't end in E, it's probably masculine, so you'd use le, like le cinéma. Now, is it 100%? No. But getting it right 3 out of 4 times? That's a pretty amazing head start, right? Okay, enough theory. Let's actually put this stuff into practice. It's time for a quick pop quiz to see how these rules feel when you're actually using them. You ready? Let's do it. First one up is the word for banana, banane. So take a good look. Which the are you going to use? Think back to that big 75% rule we just talked about. And the answer is la banane. Why? Because it ends in that magic letter E, which makes it super likely to be feminine. See? You're already getting the hang of this. All right, next one. How would you say the balloons? The word is ballons. What's the very first thing that jumps out at you when you look at that word? It's les ballons. That S on the end is a total dead giveaway. Remember our first super easy rule? If it's plural, it's always les. Fantastic. Okay, last one for the quiz. The word for computer is ordinateur. Now, it doesn't end in E and it's not plural, so what other tool do we have in our toolbox? Of course, it's l'ordinateur. It starts with that O, a vowel, so we use the L with the apostrophe just to make it sound smooth. You just aced that. You correctly used 3 different rules. Seriously, excellent work. Now, I have to be honest. I did say the E rule works about 75% of the time, which means, well, we got to talk about that other 25%. There are definitely some exceptions. So, a super famous example is le livre, the book. You can see livre ends in an E, but it's masculine. You'll pick up on these little exceptions over time, but hey, don't let it stress you out. That 75% rule still gives you incredible odds. So far, we've really only been talking about objects, tables and books. But what's so wild about French is that this whole idea of grammatical gender applies to pretty much everything. We're talking people, animals, even whole countries. For people and animals, it's kind of intuitive, right? La fille for the girl, le garçon for the boy. That makes sense. But it even applies to places. France is feminine, la France, but Japan is masculine, le Japon. It's just woven right into the fabric of the language. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground in a really short amount of time. So let's boil all of this down into one simple, super powerful cheat sheet that you can use anytime you need it. Here it is, the entire system all in one place.
Let's just walk through the logic. First question you always ask, is it plural? If yes, boom, it's les. Done. If not, does it start with a vowel or silent H? If so, you use L apostrophe. For everything else, you just check for gender. La is for feminine words, and our little trick is that they often end in E, and lay is for all the other masculine words. That is the entire system, right there.
So just think about it. A few minutes ago, you were probably looking at those 4 words feeling totally confused. The crucial point is, you're not just guessing anymore. You now have a system.
And here is that exact system laid out as a simple 4-step process. Just ask these questions in this order. 1. Is it plural? Then it's les. 2. If not, does it start with a vowel? Use L. 3. If not, does it end with an E? It's probably la. And 4. If you've gotten this far, your best bet is la. That little float chart is your key to getting it right almost every time.
And just like that, you've cracked the code. You have the rules, you have the system. So the only real question left is, as you go through your week, maybe you hear a French song or see a menu, where are you going to start noticing these rules out in the wild? Thanks for joining me on this one.